So here's the newest hype monster from Lattafa. This one is Asad Zanzibar. This one just came out, 100 mil, $36. I'll link it down below. And I finally got my bottle in. So this one came up, it sold out within that first round, and then now it's back in stock again. So this is definitely moving quick. It's at a great competitive price range compared to a lot of other things these days. And also it's kind of the first flanker of the Asad lineup, which is a Sauvage Elixir clone and was immensely popular in and of itself. So we're gonna go ahead and open this one up. It's gonna be obviously first impressions. I don't really know what this one is going to be a clone of. I've looked at the notes. The notes are, you know, a little bit interesting. They're completely different than the original, so I don't really know what to expect, but I am excited to try it out. Here's the bottle, pretty similar to the original, except it doesn't have that kind of, you know, gold wrap going around it that would slide off if you wanted it to. A little bit more of a clean, streamlined looking bottle here. But yeah, definitely very similar to that of the original. Now, let's not waste any time. We'll get this one on and we'll see what it is. I'm really curious about this one. I'm not really sure what we're gonna get, but I'm getting something that is, again, completely opposite to that of the original. I'm not getting any Sauvage Elixir here. I'm getting a lot of sweets, a little bit of like a bubblegummy sweetness, almost a pineapple-y smell, a little bit of kind of a vanillic, slight gourmand-ish creaminess, and then this kind of slight fruity texture underneath of that. Kind of like this milky texture, this milk type of creaminess and sweetness to this that is a bit bizarre and something that is making this one stand out. Let's look at those notes, okay? So up top we have black pepper and lavender. In the mid we have coconut water, iris, and salt. And in the base we have incense and vanilla. So again, when you look at those, it's kind of an interesting combination. You get a coconut water, which would give it a bit of a tropical feel, and then you're getting iris, vanilla, incense, smokiness, you know, so right now, what is this reminding me of? And to be honest, it's not necessarily pointing at anything in specific. Like, it's not cut and dry like Lattafa Asad was. The second I tried that one, immediate Sauvage Elixir. Like, that is about as close to a one-to-one clone as you can get. And this one, I'm not really getting the same type of deal where it's exactly like any one other item in particular. The coconut water would give off, obviously, a coconut smell, which would give off a summery smell. What are some popular coconut summery fragrances out there, especially ones that are getting hyped up right now? You have the Les Beaux lineup, the Eau de Toilette, Les Parfums, the new Paradise Garden. Does it smell a little bit like Les Beaux / Les Parfums? Maybe a little bit, but definitely not, you know, a one-to-one clone of that by any means. So it's interesting. Again, the bubblegummy sweetness is prominent. That could tie it back to just, in general, some other very popular designer fragrances on the market that are being put out at a fast pace. So it kind of gives this one a familiar smell overall, just kind of as a blanket statement. This is something that you've likely smelled before, just not in the form of anything in particular. There's just a new trend, a new wave, a new style of men's fragrance being primarily sweet. And this one is kind of dialing in on that type. So it's just something that may remind you of something, you just can't quite put your finger on it. That's kind of what I'm getting here. And you guys might remember experiencing something similar to this with, for example, Afnan 9 PM, which is an ultra male clone. And then Afnan released 9 AM Dive. And so that, you know, is a flanker. However, it's not really a clone of anything in particular either. It's a little bit of Bleu de Chanel, a little bit of, you know, blue fragrance with some other twists. Armaf Iconic, also similar, where it's a flanker, but it's a little bit Bleu de Chanel, a little bit Elysium, a little bit of its own deal. So some of these clone brands are kind of doing that, where they release something that is just bang on, really good, it gets really popular, a great clone, And then they branch out and they start maybe doing things, you know, a little bit more of a creative approach, maybe experimenting a little bit. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting here. Let's see what everybody else is saying. So on Fragrantica still, we'll take a look at the, you know, what it smells similar to. The first one is Les Beaux Les Parfums. We've got 21 to 31. So again, I think there's definitely some things between the two that are similar for sure. However, again, it's not that simple. What's this? We've got a Xerjoff 40 knots. I'm not really getting any 40 knots. There is, to me, zero coconut, zero fruits, zero sweetness really in 40 knots. It's very woody heavy with just kind of an interesting marine style. Xerjoff 40 knots also has a very kind of premium feel to it, a little bit more of a classiness, whereas this doesn't. This is a little bit more playful. This next one is Boss Bottled Pacific. Have I even smelled this? I don't even know. This is 2023. I don't think I even have that one. I don't think I bought it. What else? We've got Dior Homme Intense. That's a little bit weird. Definitely not. Yes, there's iris, but other than that, no correlation. Les Beaux, this is Paradise Garden right here. That's 12 to 21. And again, I don't think it's that cut and dry. Prada Luna Rossa Ocean EDP is maybe a good thought, but still not necessarily something I would consider either. They're quite a bit different. So there's just a whole bunch of stuff. Nishane Hassavat, Valentino Uomo Intense, Valentino Uomo Rock Stud Noir, CK1 Shock, Jean Paul Gaultier, Le Male Les Parfums, Phantom, Prada L'Homme Low, Invictus Victory Elixir. I mean, just everything across the board. I think that also was kind of a testament to what I was saying earlier. Maybe not necessarily something in particular, but just a broad spectrum of a lot of other popular designer fragrances mashed up into one is kind of what I'm getting. So, you know, for example, here is Les Beaux Paradise Garden. This one, you know, it's got the coconut, has some fig, and then a lot of freshness. So more fresh than the others, which I really like, and I think it could make it a bit more versatile for summer. But smelling this, just kind of up in the air, a little bit of a refresher, and then kind of going up to this, there's a big difference. Again, going back to this, there is a pretty considerable milky, kind of creamy sweetness to Asad Zanzibar. That also separates it from a lot of those other scents that it's being compared to. None of the others there in that list that I read off really has that same type of texture. And so like I said, guys, as soon as this one was released and made to where you could buy it, it was just going crazy. Selling out, coming back, selling out. The first people who were able to get this were on my mailing list and texting list. So the second this one popped up, I sent one out. It sold out. A few days later, it restocked. I sent out another one. So if you want to be the first to know when new and rare, discontinued, brand new releases, anything comes into stock, jump on my mailing list and texting list down below. But yeah, this one's been going crazy. Do I think it's going to be as big of a hype monster as the original? Probably not, just because it's not tied back to any one thing in particular that's very popular. More so, it's just kind of a take on a newer, more popular style of men's fragrance in general here. So I could see this being good for a summer evening, summer sweet gourmand. It wouldn't be my first choice for winter, and for a lot of people this would probably be too sweet for summer, but I just have other things to wear when it's cold outside. This would be more of like if I want a sweeter style scent during summer, just to break up, you know, the monotony of wearing freshies all the time. Performance will have to be evaluated at a later date. It's an eau de parfum, and it has no sign of stopping right now for about 10 minutes, so that's always a good sign. I could see this one doing pretty well. Again, I'll link this one down below, the new Zanzibar. It's not bad. It's not necessarily what I was expecting either. It's not as simple as, oh, it's a clone of this or that. So yeah, I don't know. I don't love it, but at the same time, I don't hate it. I'm a bit more indifferent about this one. But, you know, I think it's, for the price, something that might be worth, you know, a shot. But I don't know. Maybe it'll grow on me. It's decent. It could be a great compliment getter. It's not as exciting as I was hoping. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.